All right, so welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the beginning steps of graphing quadratic equations in vertex form. So vertex form basically is a form of writing a parabola. Um, as you might remember from what we saw last week, remember the vertex is basically the highest or the lowest point on our U-shaped graph, which remember these are called parabolas. And the reason why the vertex is so important, it's basically like our starting point. It's the first point you always want to find when you're graphing parabola. So that's why we're focused on finding it today. So vertex form, like kind of this general formula or this form is going to look like y equals a parentheses x minus h parentheses squared plus k. Your a value in front basically just tells you what direction your parabola is going to open. If you have a positive value in front of your parentheses, your parabola is going to open up and you're going to have a minimum. And if you have a negative a value in front, your parabola is going to reflect or flip and your vertex would be a maximum. We're not super worried about our a values today since we're just focusing on getting our vertex, but just kind of keep in mind that's what that number in front will tell you when we actually get into graphing later this week. But our vertex in this formula is represented by the h and the k. If you notice in the formula, it's x minus h. So when you pull out your h or your x value of your vertex from these formulas, you're always going to pull out the opposite sign. But your k value, you're just going to, since it's a plus in the formula, you're just going to keep it the same. So how I remember, basically, like anytime you're getting your first number of your vertex, you're always going to flip its sign. The second number is always going to stay the same. So like I said, our goal for today is to find a vertex when we're given vertex form. So let's look at a few examples. So this first example, we have y equals parentheses x minus 3 squared plus 5. So like I said, your h in that formula comes from the inside of your parentheses and your k value comes from the outside. So remember, your vertex is h comma k. So in this problem, when we pull out our h, like I said, you got to do the opposite. So since that's a minus 3, you're going to pull out a positive 3, and then your k value stays the same. So your vertex would be 3 comma 5. Let's look at another one. We have y equals 5 parentheses x plus 2 squared minus 3. And like I said earlier, this, if you look at that formula, that's our a value. And it's not really going to affect our vertex. So we're not going to really worry about that. So we want to pull out our h and our k. So we pull out our h from the inside of our parentheses. The k is our number added or subtracted at the end of our equation. So my h, since it's a positive 2 or a plus 2, it's going to be a negative 2. And then my k value would be negative 3. And just to kind of be clear, remember, like, so my answer would just be this part. You don't have to write that h comma k. Like, my answer is just this point for these questions so far. How about you guys give this one a try? So we have y equals the quantity of x minus 5 squared plus 6. What would the vertex in a question like this be? Well, if you gave it a try, you should have noticed that you have a minus 5 on the inside, so you're going to flip that to a positive 5, and then your outside number stays the same. So your first point on your graph would be at 5 comma 6. Just a couple things before I end the video, just a couple things to be on the lookout for. If you don't have anything inside the parentheses with your x, then it's a 0. So this one would be 0, and then our k value would be that minus 5. Same idea. If you have something on the inside, well, that would be my h value. But since I don't have anything on the outside, I have a 0. So if you're missing, like, you don't have a number added or subtracted on the inside or on the outside, well, you're going to put a 0 in place of that, either the h or the k. So That's it for finding a vertex. There is a Google form with some practice problems with these. So let me know if you have any questions, though. I'm more than happy to help you with this.